All right, and we are live. We are live. What is going on, everyone? Welcome, welcome, welcome. Where's my banner? Here we are. Welcome to Family Finance Friday with DJ the Money Coach and Nick Westbrooks. And this show is brought to you by the DJ the Money Coach team and the Seven Spheres of Money system. And before we head on to tonight's beach, hit the like button, share with at least 5 people. And if you're not subscribed, hit that subscribe button so you can help us spread the message of the Pom Pom Lifestyle Movement, which is plenty of money, peace of mind, and we invite you to come join us on the beaches of the world. And Friday's a beach, TGIF. Thank God it's Friday. Happy Friday to you, DJ. How you feeling on this Friday night?
Man, Nick, you know what? I am grateful and blessed from the simple fact that we just went through a major winter storm, worst one since I've been down here, and thank goodness made it through unscathed. So I want to say, shout out to everybody out there. Hopefully, everybody in this area had the similar outcome. They were safe, they were warm, they didn't lose any power, and no damage to their homes. Because last time we had a winter storm, an advisory winter storm like this was about 4 years ago, had busted pipes, all that junk. And this was actually even colder, and we actually got more snow. It actually snowed. We had about 5 inches of snow in my area, which is the most snow we've ever gotten. I think it snowed maybe 3 times since I've been down here. And this one was the kind of snow that, in Chicago, that sticks. You can make snowballs, snowmen, all that good stuff. So outside that, man, as I always say, any day above ground with your health is a great day to be alive. And this one is no exception to the rule. So we are blessed and we are humbled and we are grateful. That's what we're about today. So we're rocking and rolling. And we're also, man, it's in terms of Family Finance Friday, it is so important to be an alpha male, a leader in your household. And why do I say that, ladies and gentlemen? Because sometimes you have to have the capacity as a man to take what appears to be an L, but actually it's a W. Okay? What do I mean by that? Well, real simple. I happen to be watching a sports program called Nightcap, which, they basically talk about, the games right after the games have ended late at night. And I look up on a Monday and they're interviewing this young black couple, and they're talking about a repulsive experience that they had by I call them a Becky, but they call them a Karen. And you probably know where I'm going from on this scenario. And man, here's the thing. How does this tap into finances? Well, if you haven't seen this video, the first thing is there's no reason to be surprised. It's 2025 and they still doing this clowning BS with these white women. That's right. You got to call a spade, a snowflake. Okay? What do I mean by that? This gentleman and his beloved wife and his 2 children, he happened to be a real estate developer. And he happens to live in a very affluent community. And unfortunately, he lives in a community that represents maybe 2% people that look like him. The other 98%, heavily Caucasian and others. And it's always the case. And I've actually had this experience, not as bad as he had in my mid-20s. But let me give us a perspective on it. So this gentleman, this happened in December. But I guess the video and stuff started getting viral during that time. And here's another thing. Shout out to the inventor of home surveillance, which happens to be a black woman. And this gentleman happened to have a home surveillance system on his house. And if he didn't have, once I tell you the story, matter of fact, we're gonna actually show this video. This is how ridiculous this privilege mentality that certain white women have. Not all of them, but certain white women have this privilege. I think I sent the video to the team. So I just want you to play that video, because here's what happened before we play the video. And how does this relate to finances? Because this Becky, which they call Karens, you can interchangeably, whichever one, he had the most expensive house, custom built house he built himself. I want y'all to listen to me. This young black man with a Proverbs 31 wife and 2 young sons worked his butt off to buy land and build a custom house, and happens to be the biggest, baddest house in his neighborhood. And we were talking about Candy Cane Lane, where they're doing all the Christmas lights and the spectacle. Well, his house embodies all of that. The American dream. He's not only got the nicest house, but he has the nicest Christmas display and lights. So the electric company loves him. The children on the block loves him because he's got a beautiful house. He's in a, Christmas mood. And here it comes. You're not looking for this, but this is how much these people have so much hatred in their hearts that this lady, and this is the thing I'm saying, this is not a surprise. Let me share this with you. I always teach my children this. I said, out of every 10 people that you come across that don't look like us, here's the way you break them down and you have instant discernment or street smarts. I said 2 out of those 10 are going to be God-fearing, loving people and have humanity and only want the best for everybody in life. 2 out of 10. 2 of them are going to have the most incessant hatred towards the pigmentation of your skin and not the content of your character. It doesn't matter what you do, they're going to hate. I mean, you could save their life literally. You could be a doctor and they got to have emergency open heart surgery and they will refuse you to provide medical surgery for them because of the pigmentation of your skin. And if you think I'm jiving, this stuff happens in 2024 and 2025. Now, the great thing about those 2, they don't hide their hate for you. So generally, we're going to be good. But then I tell my children, Nick, and our family and community out here on Family Finance Friday, I said, you got those 6 in the middle. And in these communities, which I live in, this young professional black man lives in, gated, affluent. You worked your butt off to achieve what you perceive as the American dream. And you have these people who are your neighbors. They part of your community. They see you. They smile at you. They say, hey, how's it going, DJ? They all trying to be in your business because, number one, they're trying to figure out for the life of them, how is it that you got more than I got? When I've got 400 years head start on you from a variety of different ways that we took advantage of your people. And here it is, I look up and you got the baddest house in the community with the greatest lights, and you're happy and helpful to everybody, but I still salty because you got more than I got. So here it is. 6 o'clock in the evening, this lady, she probably about 28, 30 years of age, she has the audacity not to walk by this guy's house. She takes her one child, who's probably looks like about 6, 7 years of age, and maybe a 2, 3-year-old in a stroller. She don't stroll by this person's house, Nick. Now, mind you, ladies and gentlemen, and y'all try to say, well, where are you going with this, and how does this relate to finances? Oh, you're going to get the story real quick, how it relates to finances. This lady lives like 4 blocks from his house. I want y'all to let that seep in. He said she lived 2 blocks over and 2 blocks down. Now, I can relate to that because, again, I live in a gated community. I live on a cul-de-sac. And there's no way I live right on a cul-de-sac for you just to happen chance your white ass over to my house and then start bugging out. And we're going to show the video. So here's what happened. She rose up right now. It's dark outside, ladies and gentlemen. About the same time, she rose up to his house. She don't push her stroller and walk by his house. She goes up to his porch and rings his doorbell. And he just happens to be coming home from a hard day's work. Now, mind you, his beloved wife is in the house, but she's back in the office doing work. So she doesn't hear the doorbell. He rolls up. She turns around because he has a work truck. He's a real estate developer. And he rolls down his window and says, hey, can I help you? She says, is this your house? He says, yes, this is my house. Then she says, I don't believe you. This is not your house. And then he says, what are you doing at my house? What do you want? And he says it in a real kind, low tone voice, monotone, and very soft. And he says, he really didn't think much about it because a lot of children and stuff come by his house because he's got this beautiful house, got the Christmas lights, and he just thought she's, enjoying the Christmas lights. But he's kind of thinking, why is she up on my porch? So he has a driveway. He thinks nothing up. He drives up his driveway. She says, again, this ain't your house. Prove it to me. Are y'all listening to me, ladies and gentlemen? Are y'all listening to me? I can't make this up. He pulls up into his driveway and says again, what do you want? How can I help you? And he says it like this. What do you want? How can I help you? This lady proceeds to grab her child out of the stroller, grab her other child, and start running, yelling at the top of her lungs, help me, help me, I'm being chased. I can't make this up, ladies and gentlemen. Jeez. So we're going to play the quick little video, and then we're going to tell you how this pertains to finances, because this gentleman, I'm in my mid-50s. And let me just be real with you, ladies and gentlemen. Let me be real with you. I would have told her to take a long walk off a short pier and get the F off my property before I bust your A. Because at this stage in my life, I don't fear no man, no woman, albeit, even though I live in a similar neighborhood he does, this person came to my house and gonna tell me this ain't my house. You are trespassing. You are now putting me in danger. But to this credit of this strong Black man and his amazing Proverbs 31 wife, he treated her with the utmost dignity, patience, compassion, and she called the cops and she's yelling help. Now, mind you, what normally would happen in a situation like that, Nick?
A woman calling for help.
White woman. Let's just keep it
Yeah,
real.
yeah,
Here's the thing,
white
we're
woman,
not
white,
racist, but you got to
yeah,
call a spade a spade.
yeah, white woman calling for help and saying she's getting chased by a black man. Yeah, the police would have been up there in 2.5 seconds.
And what would they have had done?
They would have apprehended the black man.
Apprehended the black man. They would have came out with guns ablazing, even though it's his house.
Mm-hmm.
He did not chase after the lady. He went in the house. His wife called the police because he said he was petrified. And it's a damn shame that a grown ass man has to feel. So let's just reverse the scenario. Let you go down over to somebody's house, ring on a doorbell, and then have the audacity to tell them, this ain't your house. Prove it to me. What? Now, mind you, Nick, when I moved down here about 15 years ago, there was a situation that occurred in broad daylight where a young black teenager knocked on the door and knocked on the wrong door by accident looking for a friend, and the white person shot him.
Mm-hmm.
Do y'all hear what I just said? By accident, broad daylight. It was like 1 or 2 o'clock in the afternoon. The young man accidentally knocked on the wrong door and the white male shot him. And for all you Jason Whitlocks and out there that, oh, there's no such thing as racism. Oh, we got to be, God first people because you're just exaggerating the situation. Also, in Dallas, about 3 years ago, a white female cop walked into a dude's apartment. You remember that, Nick? Walked into a dude's apartment,
Yep.
claiming she thought it was her apartment, and shot him down.
Yep, I remember that. Yeah, I think there was recently a settlement for that came out within the last few months. Yeah.
Yeah. Now, in this scenario, thank goodness this young man didn't respond to where I responded, would have responded, and been rightfully so. He chilled in his house. Wife made a call, said, hey, somebody just came to our house, bugging out, told her where it was. This lady, she fabricated a story and everything. Now, if this young man or his wife, in their right, would have just acted like they would have acted, their whole lives would have been turned upside down, and everything that they work for, honestly, faithfully, in God, in the American dream, it would have been out the window because they would have been guilty before anything else. So all the work, the wealth and stuff that he's trying to build for his family would have been out the door. And it's unfortunate that this stuff still today in 2025 still happens. But you got people out there that's so enamored with the color of somebody's skin that they go come up with every justification, rationalization, everything. You know what my dad told me? He said, you know what? A reason is a justification stuffed inside of a lie. And this lady and the HOA, they are active participants in their HOA, Nick. Doing all the community events just like I do with my children. And nobody in the HOA believed them for 1 second. But thank goodness to the advent of technology and the calm, cool demeanor of this young black man. and his Proverbs 31 wife, which I was so proud of these young couple. Because on the spectrum in media, we portray the complete opposite. And then we figure out a way to get these people a pass. So this lady, she didn't have no problem going up and one, trying to do something that she had no right to do whatsoever. And if he had approached her in the legal way, he had the right to protect himself, and he could have gun blazed that chick. And we know it'd have been a tough argument, but the law says that the law is what it is. We have the same law here. And reason why I say this, ladies and gentlemen, I had about 3 years ago, a neighbor rented out their house. And I had a similar situation where I had a couple of knucklehead children that would want to come on my yard, kick their ball and stuff. I try to be cool with them. And I said, you know what? I'm going to go talk to your parents. So I go talk to the parents. I said, look, don't come on my yard. Don't kick the ball up against the fence. This is not a park. We got a park right down the street. We got 2 parks in our community, and we got a facility where you can play soccer. They played soccer. They were white Latinos. So I told them, hey, man, I don't get down like that. I'm going to tell you once. And the next time I told them, I said, I'm going to bust your ass. So lo and behold, we fast forward, and 6-8 months later, they out kicking the ball. I grabbed the ball. I tossed that bad boy tall way across the fence. And I said, yeah, go get your parents. So this lady, she comes running out, Nick. I'm standing up on my curb. It's summertime. She gets up in my face. She's cursing everything. And I was about to blast this chick. But I said, you know what? I got way more to lose than she would ever gain in her life. So I just told her, I said, you know what? If you accidentally touch me as you speak in Spanish and you step up on this property, it's going to be the last time you ever do that. And I said, I looked at her. I looked at her son because her son's about 16, 17. I looked him right now and I said, it ain't going to be nobody to take care of y'all. And she's going off. So I just turned my back, kept doing what I was doing in my yard. And I called the police. Because I wanted to be sure that my property line, if she stepped on it and got my face, I had the right to blast her. So I called my attorney. My attorney was, you know what? I said, well, you know what? I've already warned these people. And for some reason, they think, Billy's a goat. And they don't think fat meat greasy. But I'm going to bust their ass. I said, you know what? My attorney said, hey, just make a report on them. So I make a report on them. And I asked the cop, he said, yeah, man. He said, they step on this part from your curb into your entry to your driveway to your house, and they touch you. You got a right to defend yourself in any means necessary. I said, okay. That's all I need to know. So we did a report. I did it offline, and they went and talked to him. Never had a problem for them again. But this is my point, ladies and gentlemen. These people take your kindness for weakness, and they have these privileged mentality that they don't have any reservations about destroying your financial life. Because even when you're in the right, you're going to have to spend money, attorneys, this, that, and the other. And they immediately going to have their interest. But again, even with video. So I'm going to stop talking. So Nick, let's run this video real quick. Let's show the part. And you guys need to ask yourself a question. What would you have done in this situation? And number 2, can you have the mental capacity to not get emotional and stay calm, cool, and collected like this sharp young brother? And here's the great thing. From him doing the right thing in a wrong situation, God is now blessing his family 10 times over. And I actually have had a chance to actually speak to him live yesterday. Roll the tape.
I'm pulling up, checking out my Christmas lights we just put up. for the holiday season. And there happens to be a lady in the driveway with 2 kids. So I don't think nothing of it.
Do you live here?
Yeah.
You do? Papa. I'm just thinking, oh my gosh, I'm on the front porch. This truck literally is halfway up the driveway. And I was like, my radar was like, nope, I don't think that this is your house.
When someone tells you they're standing on your porch and they tell that's not their property, and they tell you that this is not your property.
I don't believe that. I don't believe that. You're continuing to talk to me. Now you're backing in this driveway. And then I asked if it was his house. And he said, yeah. I didn't believe it at that point. This was getting so awkward. I just continued to feel like I was getting pursued more and more. It had nothing to do with the color of his skin. He could have been purple, orange, whatever. He was a man in a truck pursuing me.
Take a look at this.
That's enough.
Device that I'm holding in my hand.
That's enough. We don't need to play no more. Take. Did you hear what she said? I don't believe you. I don't believe. Then she had the dancing. Oh, it had nothing to do with the color of his skin. He could have been purple, blue. Then you go automatically into something you program. Help! Help! And she told the police she was threatened for her life. Number one, if you were so threatened for your life, what the hell you doing outside at 6, 7 o'clock in the night when the street lights are on and you are 4 blocks away from your damn house? You see how calm, cool, and collected he was? And if we would have had time to show the whole video, y'all watch. He comes out, his wife is nice to them, and then her husband comes up, gets kind of stand up. See, then, just like Shannon said, you would have got your ass busted. Your husband come up on my, I'm gonna get my husband. Okay, go get him. Because I'm going in the house and I'm going to get that piece. Because you know you're wrong. So you should have just took your loser self back to your house. But she want to escalate it because she wants you to lose what you got because you don't deserve it. And she gets on, shoot these videos, and she trying to make, and she got caught in 3, 4, 5 different lies because the video don't lie. So if I'm him, guess what I'm doing, ladies and gentlemen? I'm suing their ass. Because you know what? If he would have just raised his voice a little bit, guess what his contractors, the people he do business with that most likely don't look like him, what do you think they would have done? They would have stopped doing business with him. You see how this pertains to family finance? Because he had to justify his innocence. And like he said, she brought this trouble to his doorstep. Does that sound familiar? And this is a direct parallel to how many times you heard in history. I'm from Chicago. Guess what? This is exactly similar to what happened to Emmett Till. A white woman claimed that he was whistling at her or grabbed it. This is the same thing that happened on Black Wall Street. A white woman claimed that a young man in the elevator tried to touch her. And of course, the white male gonna come out and don't get all the facts, and he gonna try to boss up, bold up, and take over, because now here's where you know the rules don't apply to you. I've had 340 situations, ladies and gentlemen. I used to be a baseball coach. I'm coaching my oldest son on this all-star team. It's about 12 years ago. Yeah, about 12 years ago. My son's 20. This is when he was 8 years old. We're the only blacks on the team, and we're the best player on the team. And I'm coaching, I'm assistant coaching to one of these white dudes who played, minor league baseball, all this. So this guy, we have what's called a team mom. So she's responsible for getting the caps, the jerseys, the schedules, all that stuff. So I don't believe in customization and, putting my names on my cap and all that. We don't get down like that, right? So she tells everybody, hey, we're going to get our names on one side. We're going to get this on the other side. And I said, okay, that's cool. We're not doing that. We'll just pay for the regular cap. Do you know, Nick, this lady gets my cell phone number, calls my house at 6:30 in the morning on a Saturday and tells me, where's your money for the customized cap? First I'm looking, I'm like, what the fuck are you calling me at 6:30 in the morning?
What?
I can't make this stuff up, Nick. Now, mind you, this is when, I was with my wife.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, I said, I have no idea. I answered the phone. I'm like, do you know what time? Don't call me. I told her that. And she's yelling through the phone. So the wife is like, hey, do you know it's 6:30? This lady starts berating us. I said, you know what, woman? You better lose my number and don't you ever call me again or you're going to have a problem. I hung up the phone, right? I substitute for the white coach because he had to go out and do his job somewhere and the other two white coaches. So we do the practice and everything. I come back. He comes back. I'm in right field doing baseball drills. I look up, 3 white boys tried to corner me in the right field corner of the outfield. Hey, man, we need to talk to you, coach. What do you need to talk to me about? Oh, so you're threatening the team mom. We're gonna take care of this business. I said, what? Now, mind you, these cats big, 6 feet, 220, like that. I'm looking at, I said, number one, do you know that this lady got my number, called me at 6:30 in the morning, upsetting my wife and my house? Oh, no, that ain't what happened. I said, really? So they're starting to, so I look over at my son. I said, let me tell you something. I said, if you don't back up, we're going to handle this business. I said, you can go get that chick right now. Oh, you don't talk. I said, you can go get that chick right now. I said, because one thing is, you don't know me. So they're like, yeah, man, you got to get off the team, man. We're going to take care. So I called my son. I said, hey, man, let's go. Because I'm like, all right, it's 3 of you. So I don't have my bat. I said, okay, let me go get my bat. I said, hey, son, let's look. So they walk. I said, okay. I said, you walk me to my car. And I said, you're going to get everything you got coming to you. And it ain't going to be what you think it is. This white chick running her mouth, right? So I call the president of the Little League. I contact the Little League Association. So all the violations, it's immediately a termination of the coach and the coaches and her. You know what they had the audacity to say, Nick? You know, Mr. DJ, we'll have the coach and the team mom apologize to you if you apologize to them. I can't make this up, bro.
Jeez.
I recorded everything. I sent it to the Little League Association in Williamsport and all that, and they all just turned a blind eye, bro. I recorded the chick calling me, so they suspend the dude. Then they try to give me another team. I said, nah, man, we ain't getting down like that. And my attorney was like, hey, you know what? We can sue him and do this and that. But my point is, ladies and gentlemen, this stuff happens all the time. And unfortunately for us, you have to be educated in this area to protect your family, your finances, and your dignity and your reputation. So sometimes you have to take an L to get a W, because there's a saying, you know, it's better to be judged by 12 than carried by 6. And even when these people are caught on tape, caught on video, know they're in the wrong, they still gonna make up every story under the sun, just like this scenario with this young man. But this young man, if I were in my 30s, she would have been blasted. I wouldn't even thought twice about it. But see, they always want to tell us, oh man, turn the other cheek, do this, do that. But while they are doing damage to you, just like the cop who killed the brother, his mother had the audacity to hug this chick and talk about, let me pray for you. Let God forgive you. But the great thing about this young man, his wife, he didn't do anything. He was compassionate. He took the high road. And now God is blessing him because of him showing true leadership. And unfortunately, this is never going to change, ladies and gentlemen. And remember, all his stuff would have been gone because he was guilty by pigmentation. And she's telling multiple lies. And you would think that the HOA would have came to their defense. The police would have came to their defense. None yet. But this is why you have to be educated in money. You have to be educated in the laws, because what you have can be taken from you just like that. And we don't live in fear, ladies and gentlemen. So don't get this message wrong. If he chose and his wife chose to reap hell on them, they would have been justifiably in what they did. But he chose to take the high road and gave her grace and treated her with the utmost respect and dignity when she didn't deserve it. And this ain't gonna change that lady, because you see how young she is, so you know where that came from, right? Where did she learn how to act like that? You're a school teacher, Nick. Tell him.
Probably from her parents.
There you go. There you go. It ain't no probably. It is. No question about it. And they'll be the type of people who say, oh, I got a black friend. No, you don't. No, you don't. And I immediately took that video. I sent it to my children. I said, now you see why I tell you what I tell you all the time? You can't be around here being naive. I said, you have to prepare for the worst and expect the best out of people that don't look like you, and even people that do look like you the same way. But you got to have discernment. And he had discernment, and he calculated everything mentally, spiritually, physically, and financially. And he said, you know what? I've got this Proverbs 31 woman here, and she's not going to look at me nothing less than a hero for me being kind, considerate, and patient with this idiot. I want you women to listen to that, because here's the thing. His beloved wife, young in her 30s, did the opposite of what you expect most women her age nowadays, because they would have went guns a-blazing. Am I lying, Nick? Especially black women. But you know what his wife did? His wife was calm, cool, and collected. He stayed in the house. The police showed up. His wife went outside to speak to police because she knew that all they need to see was the optics. Big black man. Even though he's lighter complexion than me, they immediately would have went into, oh, there's a danger. And they wouldn't have thought nothing about his young son, his teenage son, and his teenage son immediately. Hey, mom, do I need to be concerned about, going up and down in it? Safest neighborhood it is now. Now, this thought is in his son's mind. You think they giving any thought about? The lady had the audacity to say, how about you look at these from my point of view? How about you never brought your ass to his house? What do they say if you get caught riding in a car with somebody commit a crime and you didn't do nothing, didn't even know about the crime? What do they say in the court of law, Nick?
Yeah, accomplice or accessory.
Don't matter.
Yeah.
So her mind, you know what? I don't believe you. There's no way you can afford something like this. And she's basically telling you N-word, this, that, and the other in her mind through her actions. And all the cops, well, you know, is there any reason why she was running, screaming help? He drives up in his driveway, goes in the house. Y'all saw the video? This young man and his family should be receiving donations in the millions. Why do I say that, ladies and gentlemen? How often have we seen a white person gun down an innocent, non-harmed black person and all of a sudden get a GoFundMe and get $2, $3, $4, $5 million in it? Just as recently as the dude just got acquitted from New York from suffocating that Michael Jackson impersonator. You remember? GoFundMe, $2, $3 million. The little white kid in Wisconsin killed a couple of cats and boom, $4, $5 million in the GoFundMe account. So here's what I challenge our people to do. Put together a GoFundMe for this gentleman and his wife and children because of the great deed he did and the psychological damage that his children may have to deal with for a long period of time. Even though it came out well, the fact is the optics. And let me tell you one last one and we're going to get out of here, Nick. Again, I'm coaching basketball. Upward. It's called Upward League. This Christian organization, Upward. We're at the most affluent white church. We got a basketball team. The head coach, his name is Eric. Black engineer. Wife's an engineer. His son is the #1 player in the whole league. He's an engineer. So, ladies and gentlemen, all of our schedules, all of our practices, all of our rotations, he maps out weeks in advance and does the same thing. He does not change because he's an engineer. Mind you, he's a member of the church. He's a referee at the church. He's close to like an elder at the church. Are y'all getting me? Everybody knows him, right? We got the #1 team. We're beating the brakes off of everybody in the league. So they got a rule in Upward where they do that, participation trophy stuff. So if you get ahead of a team by 20 points, you can't play no press D on them. You have to play your players all equally the same amount of minutes. So what Eric would do, start out the starters, and we beat the brakes off of them, right? So by the third quarter, we ain't got to worry about, 20 minutes because it's a 40-minute, 20-minute half, 2 20-minute halves. So we're playing the team that everybody wants to win the championship, all white team, all just hillbilly white people. We're beating the brakes off of them. All of a sudden, here it is, the scorekeeper, 3 white girls, probably 15, 17 years of age, calls timeout, says to the ref, oh, they have not played their bench the allotted 20 minutes of time. We look up and we said, man, here we go. Here we go. I can't make this stuff up, ladies and gentlemen. This was about 10 years ago. We're undefeated. This team needs to beat us because they got 1 loss because we beat the brakes off of them before. They need to beat us to play us in the finals because the other team had the same record but had a better score differential. So she stops the game. Eric pulls out his thing. He's like, nope, here's my thing. Boom, 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 all the time. She tells him, why don't you stand up? Because I can't tell the difference between y'all.
What?
I can't make this up, Nick. I can't make this up, bro. Now, Mike, did you hear what I said, ladies and gentlemen? He's not only the coach, he's a ref at Upward. He's a member of the church. He's an elder. This dude volunteers everything. His son, the number one player. Oh, I can't tell the difference between y'all. At that point, Nick, I said, his brother-in-law was the coach, and his son played on. I said, hey, man, you know what, Ron? I said, hey, man, I'm out. I said, I'm out. I said, because we not going to sit up here and let this white girl emasculate this black man. I said, we need to walk out. This brother, God bless him, he tells his son in front of all these people, oh, son, come on off the court. Even though they're right, we're going to let them, do. I said, oh, hell no. I said, man, we're out here. He shows them all of his things, all of them, time, everything right. These white people said, oh, you're right. They allowed this young white girl, about 15, 17 years of age, emasculate a black professional male who is in his 40s. And he took that L. And this is the time when you don't take the L. His son looked at his dad and was like, Dad, so guess what happened? Once they settled the dust, son went back in the game. He became soft. He was emasculated. He didn't play no D. They beat us by 1 point. And his son, look, I said, dude, you just did the worst thing you could ever do to your son. By sitting up here and abdicating your role as a man, you allowed this young white girl emasculate you in front of your son. And now your son's going to think he is a second, third class citizen to these people, regardless of the fact he outworked them better than them. And I said, dude, you did a damn disservice trying to be Christian and godlike. Yeah, man, I got up, left up out of that joint. So this is what I'm saying for the psychological damage. The next season, his son was not the same. Little white kids was just blowing by him. His son, a couple of years later, got better, but the effect, you saw it. His son would not play no D. He wouldn't be aggressive like he was. And I'm like, dude, how you sleep with yourself? She didn't apologize to him or nothing. Again, she learned that from her parents. But this stuff don't happen. We just making this up. And all the servitude and stuff he did, you got to stand on principle, and you got to know how to win battles and win wars. And you have to, as a black man, know how to give the right example to your young son when you find yourself in these situations. Because financially, here's how it affects you. Because if you can't get your spirit back because it's crushed, you're never going to be able to financially take care of your family ever. Because you're so concerned about hurting their feelings. And now you can't even remotely be the financial king that you're supposed to be for your family. And that now becomes a generational pathology. Because now your son is not going to stand up for himself when it comes to the job that he wants, the raise that he wants. Your daughter's not going to look at him the same way, and then she's not going to look at the black man the same way. But when this young couple did it the right way, and the mother reinforced, hey, this is what we have to do as a family. Dad handled this situation very well. And I love Dad. Dad is a hero. And now what appeared to be an L, they're getting interviewed by everybody. And guess what? Opportunity is going to come to them because of their character. And that's why I reached out to him. I said, man, I have never seen a more exemplary personification of a real man in a non-win situation that handled himself impeccably. I mean, you could teach a master course on handling race relations the way this young man handled himself. And you would think that his community would rise up and celebrate them. His wife told us the HOA ghost them. And they had to show the video because the lady made the false report at the police department. They're making their report, and she's going out telling everybody in the community, you heard her, help, help. And you know how you got these vigilantes, you know how people, oh man, we're gonna go help them out. Ridiculous, man. But again, not surprised by it, disappointed, but man, honored and amazed of the character of this young black man. So I'm going to say shout out to DeMichael Jenkins and his beloved Proverbs 31 wife, Brittany, for showing our community how to stand on principle and don't resort to violence with violence, and taking the high road and showing the content of their character in the midst of a no-win situation. And thank technology, because here's the sad part, ladies and gentlemen. If he didn't have that surveillance camera on his porch, he'd be catching a case right now. And if he caught a case, all that he built and struggled and went through to show his children how to go the right way, it would have given his children justification to take the wrong way out and go and do illegal stuff. Because now you're looking at, damn, my dad busting his butt, working hard on the job site, and this person brings us to our door and turns our life around. So why should I obey the laws? And then you'll turn around and you'll have these clowns like Jason Whitlock, and they'll come up with every justification why that man was wrong and that Becky, Karen, was right. You can lose all your stuff because he would have caught a case, she would have got an attorney, and they would have sued, and they would have suppressed that videotape. So I want to challenge you, and we're getting out of here. I want to challenge you. Let's set up a GoFundMe account to salute this family and help them get scholarship money for their sons, because their father and their mother stood on principle and handled it in a mature, non-emotional fashion, even though everything was up against them. And then let's ask them to come speak at our churches, our schools, our synagogues, our Presbyterian outlets about race relations. Because see, this ain't no DEI, which I don't believe in. This is about justice. See, I hate the hate that hate produces. And so if we're rewarding people who kill people unjustifiably and give them monetary gain, then how about we reward people for saving people's lives? Bruce Lee said, hey, I walked away from the fight to save your life. And that's exactly what Mr. and Mrs. Jenkins did on that day back in December when this Karen decided she was going to play her Karen card and come up to your door because she's jealous and she has a multi-generational hate instilled in her to cause problems. Because here's what people don't understand with the optics. Guess what those two little kids that she had automatically going to start doing? Yes or no? Because they're too young to understand what's going on, but they're young enough to know, oh shit, we're running from a black man. You see that? Ain't that crazy? So you're watching Family Finance Friday. It's January 24th, 2025. We are grateful And let's get a prayer out and ask God for his grace, his mercy, and his forgiveness of that young wretched woman and her wretched husband for trying to break and destroy the lives of a hardworking black man and black woman with young family who worked and earned their right to have the best house in the neighborhood, the best Christmas display in the neighborhood. And they were sharing the joy with everybody in the community. And this one bad apple tried to prevent that from being a great giving time instead of taking time. So, God, we thank you for providing a hedge of protection around the Jenkins family. And we thank you for the grace and the discernment that you gave the young DeMichael Jenkins to handle the situation better than Jesus would have handled the situation, better than Dr. Martin Luther King would have handled the situation. Because I could tell you, DJ the Money Coach, I would have came out blasting. So thank you for giving him wisdom and the Constitution to see through the ignorance and the hatred that she had, and her purpose was to destroy him, and he lifted her up and gave her grace. And man, thank you, God, for allowing his beautiful Proverbs 31 black young wife to do what traditional black women have done in the 50s, the 40s, the 30s, the 60s, the 70s, and the 80s, and the 90s. Stand by their man 100% and don't get ratchet and cause, even though she would have been right to go off the hinge on them, but she was wise enough to understand we got to take the high road because there's no winning this for us. And guess what? My husband, the father of my children, is more of a man for the way he handled the situation. So how about we blow that up, ladies and gentlemen, and ask him and his beloved wife to come out and tell their story. And how about we fund their children's scholarships for him being a great man of God, and most importantly, being a great representation of humanity for all of us. Because God's no respecter of persons. So that's all we got today. We're excited, and make sure when you have a chance to stand high on principles, know the right way to take. It's not always emotional. Have a chance to settle back in, but be rest assured. It's like Malcolm X said, if they're going to put hands on you, put hands on them. And like they said, in No Way, not No Way Out, but The Untouchables, my man Sean Connery said, if they bring a knife to the fight, you bring a gun. They bring a gun, you bring a bazooka. By any means necessary, we do not allow people to take our freedom, and we do not allow them to take our manhood. Because if your children are witnessing this, you got to represent them. And again, kudos to them because they stood on principle versus living on their knees. So you're watching Family Finance Friday with DJ the Money Coach and Nick Westbrooks. We wish you a pom-pom lifestyle that's plenty of money and peace of mind. We want you to come join us on the beaches of the World Club. And today's beach is compassion, dignity, and grace. So how about we get us a bucket full of that and let's spread the gospel, and let's be those two people who love everybody outside of the pigmentation of their skin, and we judge them on the content of their character. And let's make this place a better place, because the Jenkins, they have made it 1,000 times better. And God, I pray, and we know you will reward him and his children for the grace and the dignity and the honor he has shown as a beautiful black man with a beautiful black wife on these United States. We out. We'll catch you on the flip side. Everything. We're going to give you a master training, 3-hour course, 2 consultations. We're going to teach you how to build credit up to $100,000 interest-free for 18 months. Pay off your home in 7 to 10 years. And most importantly, create $8,333 a month. Passive income. It's a $997 course. You get it all today for $97. $7. Hit that link and beat me to the master trainer.
My name is Victoria Akopala, currently a preventive medicine here in Atlanta, Georgia. I just recently graduated from Morehouse School of Medicine. Grateful to be a part of this opportunity, a part of the All-Star community. Really excited to finally get off YouTube University and stop listening to all the different financial gurus and experts. You have to discern through everything. So it's quite a lot of work, and I'm grateful to be a part of this team now. So I first saw DJ the Money Coach, it was early 2020. I was still in the military at Fort Hood, Texas. And by the grace of God, I knew, and it was on the Erica Williams show as well, that this is where I wanted to be planted so that I can grow and get organized. So my financial goals right now to get into the diversification, looking into different sectors. For me personally, I really don't want to invest too heavily in traditional financial markets such as stock markets, 401k. I really want to basically diversify individually and in individual sectors. And then lastly, giving back. Goal eventually, I want to retire from being a physician and be able to work for free. And have my supplemental income that doesn't come from me being a physician to kind of support me, myself, and my family, and also future investments. So I'm thankful for this opportunity, and that's my intro, and I'm ready to get organized. Thank you.